What if the history you've been taught is just a tiny, tiny fraction of the real story? Today, we're diving into a narrative that suggests our planet's destiny was actually forged in a cosmic war that started millions of years ago. It's a wild hidden history of fallen civilizations and a secret battle for the very future of humanity. See, the source material we're looking at today claims that humanity's whole struggle is way older and much more cosmic than any of us ever imagined. It suggests the conflicts that define our world didn't even start on Earth. Nope. They began in the farthest reaches of the galaxy, eons ago. So let's start at the very beginning of this incredible timeline. Okay, so this timeline, wow. It paints this incredible picture of a huge cosmic conflict with Earth right at the center of it all. It kicks off with the origin of darkness itself, then moves through this long period where our planet was completely sealed off from the universe, and it all leads to a major invasion, pretty recently actually, which, according to this story, sets the stage for a final battle that's happening right now. To really get what's supposedly happening on Earth today, this narrative says we have to go way, way back to the actual genesis of the dark forces. And their origin story isn't some simple choice between good and evil. It was something totally unexpected, an accidental consequence of technology and trauma. It all started, believe it or not, with a group of angelic beings. The source says they were using some super advanced electromagnetic technologies, and, well, they experienced a trauma so profound that it literally severed their connection to their higher selves, to their souls. This triggered a crazy, rapid mutation, creating the very first dark entities, who then immediately started waging war across the galaxy. And they figured out a really powerful weapon almost right away: taking hostages. This story suggests the forces of light, being driven by compassion, were often kind of paralyzed in the response. It was this huge strategic advantage that the dark forces would use again and again for millions of years. Well, the conflict just escalated from there, with the star system Rigel becoming the main headquarters for the dark forces. It was on a planet there, the text says, that they cooked up all these devastating exotic weapons and basically created the focal point for all the suffering in the entire cosmos. And you guessed it, this massive cosmic war eventually made its way right here to our little planet. It focused on the legendary global civilization of Atlantis. Now, according to this story, Atlantis wasn't just one city. It was this worldwide network that was originally seeded by a bunch of different extraterrestrial races. So this is where the conflict really lands on our doorstep. Atlantis became this hub of competing influences. On one side, you had these benevolent forces from places like the Pleiades and Sirius, helping to create its golden ages. But on the other side, you had a malevolent faction from Orion that snuck into these networks, and they had a very different agenda: control. So, according to the text, this Orion group put in place these really sophisticated systems of control. We're talking widespread genetic experiments, implanting the population, using contracts they made under false pretenses, and get this, mandatory treatments in so-called temples of healing that were actually designed to mess with DNA. They even misused pyramid and crystal technology. The whole point was to degrade consciousness, which led to what our myths called the fall of man. The final catastrophic destruction of Atlantis, caused by the misuse of its own incredible technology, was a massive turning point. That event led directly to Earth's next big chapter in this cosmic saga, becoming a planet totally sealed off from the rest of the universe. So, about 26,000 years ago, the whole game changed. Dark forces, which the text calls the Archons, basically seized control of the planet. They set up a full quarantine, an energetic barrier that trapped souls here in a cycle of reincarnation, cutting Earth off completely from the cosmos. Then, much, much more recently, another huge shift happened. In 1996, something the source calls the Great Invasion took place. A wormhole was opened between that dark home base, Rigel, and Earth, and it transferred the entire nexus of cosmic suffering directly onto our world. And this is the really critical part to understand. Since 1996, Earth itself has become the new ground zero for all unresolved cosmic suffering. According to this account, the primary anomaly, the absolute epicenter of darkness, was moved from Rigel, and its new address is planet Earth. But, the forces of light didn't just give up and abandon the planet. With the quarantine in place, they had to get creative. They were forced to go underground, and I mean that literally, to keep their work going and to hold the light for humanity. So, beneath the surface of our world, you've supposedly got these two opposing forces duking it out. On one side, there's the positive Agartha network, a collection of breakaway civilizations and ascended masters working to preserve the light. And on the other, you've got the dark network, allied with reptilian and draconian forces, all dedicated to maintaining Earth's prison-like quarantine. The text claims these forces of light have been working secretly all throughout our recorded history, influencing key events and people. For instance, they're credited with inspiring the founding principles of the United States. From creating ancient mystery schools to guiding revolutions, their goal has always been the same: keep the sacred knowledge alive and keep pushing humanity toward freedom. This secret war, which has been going on for centuries, is all, according to this source, culminating in one final grand project, a huge plan to finally break the quarantine, heal the planet, and restore Earth to its true destiny. And the ultimate endgame for the light forces? It's the creation of what they call the New Atlantis. The source says this isn't just some fairy tale dream, it's an active project that's been in the works for millennia. The plan is to build a global civilization of light by reactivating the planet's old, dormant energy grid. And this isn't some new idea. The source connects this whole project to key historical figures, like the super mysterious Count of Saint Germain, who, in a previous incarnation as Francis Bacon, actually outlined this vision of a perfect society. The text also claims he was the spiritual force behind the creation of the United States. So, how do they win? Well, it all comes down to a battle for control over the planet's own energy network. The source describes how these special tools, like Sintamoni stones, which are said to be sacred stones from space, are being placed on key energy vortexes all over the globe. The idea is to anchor angelic energies and heal the grid to prepare for this final transformation. So what we have here is this absolutely extraordinary hidden history of cosmic war and earthly struggle, and it all leads to this incredible vision for a liberated world. It completely reframes our entire past as a battle between light and dark, with our consciousness as the ultimate prize, which leaves us with a final, really provocative thought. Are we on the verge of actually witnessing the birth of this new Atlantis?